Now let's queer up sports. World Aquatics Congress announces new transgender-friendly open category for all gender swimmers. World Aquatics President Hussein Al Musallam said they will set up an open category that will include transgender competitors. He said the event would take place in the future among other races, but gave no details. Reports suggest that it could be this year. At the World Aquatics Congress in the southwestern Japanese city of Fukuoka, Al Musallam said that this is a complicated subject, but he's happy to share that the World Aquatics is making plans for the first trial of an open category. World Aquatics had previously banned transgender competitors from major events like the Olympics and World Championships. He said, quote, "Nobody should be excluded from our competitions," end quote. The topic has been divisive and many governing bodies in major sports have avoided it. And there will be many questions to answer as the first trial event unfolds under the eyes of lawyers and scientists. In March of 2022, American swimmer Lia Thomas won the 500-yard freestyle at the NCAA Championships in Atlanta, becoming the first transgender woman to claim a national title in swimming. Thomas became a leading symbol of transgender athletes, stirring both opposition and support when she joined the University of Pennsylvania's women's swim team after competing for 3 years on the men's squad at the Ivy League school. Well, I think that the World Aquatics Congress is groundbreaking new areas in opening this new open category where essentially anybody can participate in this open category. I know there is a lot of controversy about trans women, especially trans women who have just transitioned, competing against women. And there are some valid arguments on both sides.
After you hear all of the arguments, where do you think it leads to?
I think it leads to more inclusivity. I absolutely do, because I think this will give the world an opportunity to see these transgender and anybody who wants to compete in this category.
You know, I'm on the fence here. I'm on the fence for this, okay? And I'll tell you why. Because, you know, a gender-neutral bathroom saved a lot of our siblings' lives, right? Gave somewhere for people to go to use the freaking bathroom, right? So I get it. It's a good start, but it's not a solution, at least for me, right? Because I'm looking at it as, okay, so you're going to have men, women, and others. I don't want to feel like the others. I don't want to perform with the others. And so you're not including us, you're actually excluding us, and you're making a whole new lane. You know, and so that's why I'm torn. You know what I mean, Cindy?
Yeah, I mean, I disagree with you.
Okay.
And I partially disagree with you.
You always do.
I don't think it is a good start. I don't think it is a good idea, because separate is never equal. I hope that every trans swimmer will boycott this particular event.
I have a very unpopular view, especially when it comes to Lia Thomas. She competed for years on the men's team at that university, which meant her transition, there wasn't a lot of time between her transition and then competing as a woman. My personal opinion is she had an unfair advantage. Now, if somebody transitioned as a younger person, I don't think that should affect their ability to compete in the gender that they are in. But I do believe that in this particular instance, because she transitioned later in life, she had competed as a man with that, developing that men's muscular system that women just can't match.
Well, I don't.
So I know that that's not a popular opinion.
No, but that's your opinion, and you're allowed to have it, Miss Cindy. You know what I mean? As someone who has friends that are super close in transition, right? I know that the first year they couldn't push a table.
Right.
because of what the meds that they were on to transition, right? So my belief is that they could compete because they don't have that same muscle memory as they did when they were a man. But again, science, okay? We need more studies. We need more data. We need more information on this, and somebody's got to pay for it. We need it.
Yeah, and also you're talking about, and I don't know how old Leah is. I don't know if she came to college later in life, but
She
but when
was
you're
at the
talking
same college. She competed as a man,
Right.
and then she competed as a woman 2
right.
years later.
But my point is that when you're in college, you're still relatively young. You're 18 to 22, 18 to 23 years old. So there hasn't been a lot of time for you to transition. I mean, most of the time you can only do hormone blockers until you get to 18, when your body is mature enough to start handling surgeries and advanced things. So it's really hard to say, because it's such a compressed time frame. Now, if she was doing it at 26 and going to the Olympics, let's say, I would absolutely agree with you. Yeah. But I think because it's college, even if you wanted to transition at 12, the ability to do it is limited by partially by science, sometimes by the state.
My belief is coming from, I have nieces, and I want them to be able to compete against people that are on an equal level. I mean, I do believe that when we get to the Olympics and stuff like that, and people have been transitioned for, maybe it's a certain number of years, I don't know, but I do feel really torn on this subject because I feel for athletes, and I love my transgender friends more than anything.
Separate but equal.
Is never equal.
It can be a useful paradigm, however. Historically, in the 1990s, Bill Clinton's Don't Ask, Don't Tell. This is a similar kind of policy that World Aquatics is trying to adopt. Is it fair? No, it's absolutely not fair. Is it rooted in the reality of the politics of population? It absolutely is. And at the end of the day, while our community was very critical on Don't Ask, Don't Tell, there are many political historians that say Bill Clinton made the right decision because he took the absolutists off the playing field by doing this, which is, you're okay as long as we don't talk about it. Do we like that? No. But you're okay, and that becomes an implementation short term to get to whatever. And of course, we know, think about in the 1990s when Don't Ask, Don't Tell existed, Barack Obama, not yet senator, was opposed to gay marriage. He was not a great LGBT advocate. That interim step and many other interim steps begins to help re-educate those that need help. Can you just give me enough time to come along with you? That's what World Aquatics is doing here. Critical, not critical. I have problems with it, not having problems with it. I don't think those are the big issues. The big issue is it is a political reality that for trans community issues in sports, that we have issues that we need to give the broader population enough time to breathe, put their hand in our hand, and let us bring you along with us to help. Faye's absolutist in her in a clear viewpoint of where she is on this issue, and we need people to stand and talk to Faye long enough for her to be able to help them understand that. And one other thing that I think is really good about this policy change, you know who absolutely hates this? Who absolutely, exactly right. Governor Ron DeSantis hates this decision. And the reason he hates this decision is it defeats what he ultimately wants. I've just completed an interview with Zoe Zephyr, the state representative that was banned from speaking in Montana. And she clearly explains to me, look, Al, what they want is eradication. And that's what Ron DeSantis wants, eradication. So when the World Aquatics Association says, let's have an open competition because we want every trans person to participate. It does not follow Ron DeSantis's mantra paradigm of eradication, which keeps trans in front of us, which, like Don't Ask, Don't Tell, gives people time to begin to learn and understand. I applaud their decision. Is it what we want? It absolutely isn't. Is it probably the best decision for July of 2023? It probably absolutely is. Just a thought. We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ+ evening news show, brought to you from Happening Out Television Network. We operate in the same model of PBS and NPR, but for the LGBTQ+ community. We educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community, with more than 100,000 a week watching us on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the story going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.